Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Puruṣottama Vidya, Puruṣottama Yogam. Sloka 3 and 4, Part 2. Na rūpam asyeha tathopalabhyate, nānto na cādir na ca sampratiṣṭhā, aśvattham enaṁ su-virūḍha-mūlam, asaṅga-śastreṇa dṛḍhena chittvā, tataḥ padaṁ parimārgitavyaṁ, yasmin gatā nivartanti bhūyaḥ, tameva cādyaṁ puruṣaṁ prapadye, yataḥ pravṛttiḥ prasṛtā purāṇī. In the first half of the third sloka, na rūpam asyeha tathopalabhyate, nānto na cādir na ca sampratiṣṭhā. Krishna said that no one has truly understood this tree the way it is supposed to be understood. No one understood that this tree originates from above, that is, in the Brahmaloka. The human world is its branches. Based on the action that is done by the human, its branches extend above and below. Attachment of the gunas and their product alone is the beginning of this tree. These gunas are the water to nourish this tree. The karmas are the deep root of this tree. One's ignorance is the sand, the foundation on which this tree stands straight. One wrongly understands that beginning of my life is the starting of this tree. When I die, this tree perishes. One sees this as a family tree where feels that this tree has to be grown nicely with many branches of children, grandchildren, and so forth. Now, after hearing all about this samsara tree, Arjuna is eager to know how to cut this tree and what is special about cutting this tree, which is being explained in the second half of the third sloka and the first half of the fourth sloka. Aśvattham enaṁ su-virūḍha-mūlam, asaṅga-śastreṇa dṛḍhena chittvā, tathopalabhyate padaṁ tat parimārgitavyaṁ, yasmin gatā na nivartanti bhūyaḥ, su-virūḍha-mūlam. Very strongly and deeply rooted, and it's variegated with different experiences, that is, varieties of joy that one gets here in this samsara. If he wants to eat, there are varieties of items to eat to satisfy one's tongue and belly. If he wants to satisfy his eyes, there are so many things that he can watch. And if he wants to hear something, there are many things that one can hear to satisfy the ears. The point is that when there are so many things to experience and enjoy in this world, then how will one ever think of cutting off this tree? Rather, one wants to nourish this tree, grow it further. But as one tries to enjoy the effects of the gunas, three gunas, one gets entangled further and further in this tree of samsara, making the root of this tree stronger and deeper. Therefore, it is su-virūḍha-mūlam. The root, mūlam, is su-virūḍha, deeply rooted, and it has many different varieties of it. why does he get caught in experiencing these worldly pleasure? That is simply because of the association with the gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, and the karma that has been carried for many lifetimes. The sattva guna provides attachment to happiness and knowledge, from rajoguna attachment to activities, and from tamoguna attachment to sleep, laziness, etc. Due to this attachment, he does some actions which becomes his karma, and these actions create impressions, vasanas, which are hard to be erased so easily. Even in this very life, we can experience how strong the vasanas are. Then what to speak about the vasanas which has been carried for several lifetimes? Su-virūḍha-mūlam. We should know that actions performed with one's mind, speech and body, and their consequences, which is karma, have no count, because we do so many actions knowingly and unknowingly, which creates many karmas. We do many kinds of offenses, since we human are capable of committing sins in less than a minute, which takes hundreds of lifetimes to pay off. Therefore, it is su-virūḍha-mūlam. The roots are strong, deep, and with varieties. We mentally think about others' fault, we judge people, we speak about others so very freely without thinking the consequences, and through body we commit so many kinds of other offenses. One may ask, can I do a prayachitta, atonement, to nullify the consequences and then free from this samsara tree? We need to know that even if we try to do some atonement, prayachitta, it may remove some of the consequences, but not all, because our sins are limitless and we can't even trace them back. It is not just this lifetime. We have been committing sins for beginningless period. Say, just for argument's sake, even if we trace them, we don't know the details of what are the atonement that needs to be performed to nullify these karmas. Or even if we know the prayachitta that needs to be performed to nullify these karmas that I have done for several lifetimes, right now we don't have that long of duration to complete all the prayachitta. Our lifespan in this body is short. We don't live for thousands and 10,000s of years. Not only that, as we are engaged in prayachitta, we again get into actions. Whenever we do action, obviously that's going to create a reaction, karma. In one hand, we are trying to find atonement and nullify the karma that we have accumulated. In other hand, we are trying to accumulate new karmas by engaging in such actions. And more so ever, prayachitta is not the complete remedy for this problem. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj asked a brilliant question to Shukadev Goswami. Drishta shuddhabhyam yat papam jananapi atmano hitam karoti bhūyaḥ vivashaha prayachittam atogatam. He says, one by performing a sinful activity knows that he is going to be punished. We see that in this world. A criminal performs a crime, not that he doesn't know that he will be punished if he is being caught by the government. Or even those who have some understanding about the scriptures or heard from the learned scholars, by committing sins, they may have to suffer either in this life or next life, either in this world or in hellish world. Nevertheless, in spite of such knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again. Not only that, even after performing acts of prayachitta, atonement, one still continues to do sinful activities. Therefore, what is the value of such atonement? It doesn't seem to solve the problem, rather seems to increase the problem. Sometimes one was very alert not to commit sins, do any sinful activities, either through mind, speech, or body, seem to become victimized by sinful life again. Therefore, Parishit Maharaj says, I do not consider this process of repeated sinning and atoning to be useful. Rather, it is useless. It is like Kunjara Chaushavat, exactly like the bathing of an elephant. Elephant enjoys and bathes in the water. As soon as it comes back to the land, it puts the mud on its body. Prayachitta has the same effect. One atones for their mistake. After that, they commit the sin again. Therefore, I feel prayachitta is useless. In response to this brilliant question, Shukadeva Goswami says, Karmana karma nirharo nahyantyantika ishyate avidvad adhikaritvat prayachittam vimarshanam. He says in response that, my dear king, you're absolutely right. To neutralize impious actions are also fruitive. They will not release one from the tendency to act again in the same manner. Therefore, the persons who subject themselves to perform prayachitta by certain rules and regulations are not at all intelligent. Rather, they are in mode of darkness. Unless one is freed from the mode of ignorance, trying to counteract one action through another action is useless, because this will not uproot one's desire to commit such acts again. Thus, even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. Therefore, real atonement is enlightenment and perfect knowledge, Vedanta, by which one understands the supreme absolute truth. And he gives an example of how a diseased person eats the pure, uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician. He gradually gets cured, and the infection of disease can no longer touch him. Similarly, if one follows the regulative principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses toward liberation from material contamination. So today we learned about how strong and deep this tree is. And also we learned prayachitva, the atonement, is not a solution to cut this tree off. So the question is, how am I supposed to cut this tree then? The answer will be revealed in the next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.